We're back. And Peter, if you haven't been paying attention, there's a lot of soccer going on right now. You've got the Euro championships, but we're going to focus right now on Copa America, which really is the last and only dress rehearsal for Team USA heading into the World Cup in 2 years. So, Peter, right off the bat, the U.S. a fairly impressive 2-0 win to open things up against a not inspiring Bolivia squad, but they're plus 1,400 to win Copa America, obviously behind Argentina, Brazil, Uruguay, Colombia, and Mexico, which I'll get into in a second. But the U.S. underdog chances are hampered because they have an incredibly difficult road. They are basically slated to play either essentially Colombia or Brazil in the knockout phase, whether they win or finish second in their group. And they're probably going to have to beat Argentina along the way. So winning the cup may be difficult for this team, but I'm curious if you have any thoughts on their road before I tell you what I think of how they've played so far.
Well, everyone should be paying attention. There's games all over the place, right? This is the Copa America. There's games all over the continent. It's actually very exciting. Look, the game against Bolivia is as easy as it will ever get in this entire tournament for the U.S. I don't think the 2-0 victory is much of a sign of anything. So I still have questions. Do you think this team is playing anywhere near the sum of its parts? Well, I'm actually curious about what you think, because I think it's, like you said, it's only going to get much tougher from here on out.
So I think, look, this team is still relatively young and still sort of coming together as a group. The hard part, obviously, they don't have to go through qualifying for the World Cup, and no offense to the Gold Cup next year, but it's not that much of a test. We already know they're the best team in CONCACAF. So this is their chance to test themselves against some elite international squads. I don't know if they're there yet. They're missing Serginho Dest, who's out with an ACL injury. John Brooks is back, but he's only playing about half the game right now as he's sort of recovering from a long injury history. The team, to me, is not where I still think it could be in 2 years. But what I will say is I think this is a deeper U.S. squad than we've had in a while. There's a lot of options, particularly in the midfield. And if Fowler and Balogun can actually start scoring goals up top, this team is dangerous. Do I think they're going to win the gold? Do I think they're going to win Copa America? No, but could they threaten Brazil or Colombia, maybe make a semifinal appearance? Yeah, I'm just not ready to lay 1,400 on them to win the cup. Quite frankly, it's really hard to pick anyone other than Argentina, Brazil, or Uruguay to win the cup. But I know you've got one even further out there long shot who could at least cause some problems for everyone, right?
Well, let's just talk about that high level competition for 1 second first, because Brazil may not be the Brazil we're all assuming that they've been forever. I mean, the friendlies leading up to the World Cup, 2 wins but 3 draws, including a 1-1 game against the Americans, including an uninspiring scoreless tie against Costa Rica to open this tournament. They weren't too hot in the qualifiers. I know they've changed coaches, they've reconstituted the teams, but they haven't been playing that well. And I wonder we should think about Uruguay as the other co-favorite with Argentina. They've been playing great. 20 goals scored, 8 given up in the matches leading up to this tournament. But the team I have my eye on, Jordan, is Venezuela. That's right. La Vio Tinto, the blood red or the wine red. That's the team name. Jordan, they're 26th in the international ELO ratings, while they're only 54th in FIFA. What we've seen in the past is that FIFA is kind of a lagging indicator, right? ELO is a snapshot of how well you're playing right now. Venezuela in the qualifiers and the friendlies leading up to this tournament, 10 wins, 6 draws, 3 losses. 2 of the 3 losses were by 1-0 scores. Their game against Ecuador was a fantastic game to open this up. 2 subs came in and scored the winning goals in a comeback win. They have a huge game coming up next against Mexico. Mexico's got a couple of
tonight,
key injuries.
I believe, right? Tonight.
It is. And Edson Alvarez, who plays for West Ham, is injured. He's out for Mexico. So look, Venezuela is one of only 2 countries in South America, if you include Ecuador, that's never won the Copa America. They've crashed out in the group stages 14 times. They are a great underdog to root for. There's not many teams in this tournament that play the kind of obstructionist, low-scoring style we love to see in underdogs, but Venezuela is rapidly improving, maybe improving fast enough than anybody realizes.
Yep, and they have if they can win the group, if they can beat Mexico, they get a great road. They would play the second place team in Group A, which is probably Canada or Chile. This team could be in the semifinals. But Peter, that brings us to a new segment we'd like to debut this week. It's called the Under of the Week from the Underdogs. And look, Under of the Week is brought to you by DraftKings. Dive into all the action with our partners at DraftKings Sportsbook. New customers bet $5 and get 150 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code Underdogs only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. And Peter, to take the crown, you've got a good little under for us if you want to lay a couple bucks down on Copa.
We're
right?
looking under. Is that right? Well, Jordan, we've got a team in the Copa América that in 4 friendlies and 6 qualifiers scored a total of 3 goals, given up a total of 8 goals. I'm talking about the landlocked nation of Paraguay. That's right. Paraguay can't score. They focused on defense forever. Jack Lang of The Athletic used one word to describe their national team culture. The word was attrition. They have a game coming up on Friday against Brazil, who we just talked about is not the dominant Brazil of yore. The over-under is 2.5. They could probably play for a week and not score 2.5 goals in that match.
Well, and what's great is in their first match, there actually were 3 goals scored. So people, I think it's helped the odds. You get under 2.5 goals at -105.
That's right, Jordan. The markets are moving off Paraguay quickly.
Right.
They're worth watching too because their coach is so cranky. Have you seen him? This guy, Daniel Guerrero.
I have my own cranky friend I see on a daily basis, but tell me more.
He screams at the referees all the time. He's like a grievance-based coach. But there were in the one game they played against Colombia, there were bodies all over the place because Paraguay falls down. They take a lot of time to get up. They do kind of play that drag you down, bore you to death, bury you in the mud type style. It's a fun game to look for an under.
Well, there you have it. Paraguay under 2.5 goals total in their game against Brazil. That's coming up on Friday. And maybe if Brazil is as weak as you seem to think they are, maybe they won't get things going against that stingy Paraguayan defense, right?
Yeah. And Venezuela for our underdog of the tournament. I think we can get behind them.
Right. Well, we'll follow that. We will hope Team USA can make a strong showing, and we'll keep our eyes on Europe too. And next week we'll check in the knockout rounds there. But next week, you got to tune in because it is our favorite episode of the year. That's right. The Nathan's 4th of July hot dog eating contest. All the analysis you want. Who needs Joey Chestnut? You got the Underdogs next week. We'll be with you.
It's baseball. It's hot dogs. It's apple pie. I'll bring a recipe. We're ready.